Hey guys, welcome to episode 9. Today we are going to be actually creating a TikTok from start to finish. I'm going to give you guys a very descriptive tutorial on how to start and create a TikTok, the method that we use, the method that works, and the method that you should be doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start screen recording, and basically we're going to get into actually making a TikTok. So make sure you have a TikTok in the beginning, and I hope you've been following along with us through these episodes so you kind of know these creator tools that I'm going to be using, and we can make it and you guys follow along. So basically, just to give you an idea of the method that we use on TikTok that we see all the time, it is very popular and it seems to be very successful. This is the method that we call the hook, value, and call to action method. So what it is we hook the people in with a good video or your final product or basically what you are going to be giving them, and then you start adding value, as in adding value to the user that is watching it. Give them a reason to continue watching it, because basically you're adding value to their life as they're watching it. You know, they need to be watching it for a purpose. This is a great method that seems to keep people on your video for longer, which, as we talked about in the previous episodes, this draws a ton of more engagement. And then at the end of that video, we basically break it down into 3 parts. It is your call to action or your final product, or end up potentially checking out your services or your website or whatever you're on TikTok for, whatever that goal is. Make sure to push that goal toward those viewers so that you could reach that goal with this video. So also, just to give you some examples of those hooks, some different ones that we've seen on TikTok, we'll show you a few of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my clips, and instead of press on sound sync, what we want to do is create our own video. Sound sync is a great option if you don't want to put any text over the top or anything like that. If you want to quickly edit those videos, a lot of the times we do that as well, and they perform really well. But for this one, we're going to press on default, which is an option right there in the bottom, and then we're going to click next. Basically, default allows you to trim each of those videos. So if you click on a video, you could trim how long it's going to be or whatever. But since we already have these clips adjusted to the length that we want them to be, we're not going to sound sync, but we're going to kind of do that adjustments ourselves. So I'm going to click on next, but then what I'm going to do right off the bat, I'm going to start adding some text. So we want that hook. That hook is going to be basically what this video is. We want to tell people right away what the video is. So I'm going to do product photo shoot. We want to make sure that we are editing the length of the text. So I'm going to click set duration on it. Why we want to set duration is so that that text is not through the entire video. We don't want to show someone photography tip for the whole video. So we're going to trim it. You grab it from one end and you squeeze it all the way to the other end. So product photography tip, we want it to just last over these first 2 clips, just so we can tell our audience this is the product photography tip, this is what you're going to be getting. Press that check mark, and as you can see, it's going to pop up in the beginning of the video. It just says product photography tip, and then it goes away. Then I'm going to click here, I'm going to add some more text, basically explaining what is happening in that video. So this now is the add value portion. So we want to be adding value by explaining, in my case, what is happening in this photography tip. So I'm going to tell them step number 1, grab a mirror and your product. So I'm breaking it down for these viewers. And then I'm also going to trim the duration of that one as well, so it's not lasting there the whole entire time. Have it pop in exactly when I want it to pop in, and have it fade out when I want it to go away. So boom, press the check mark. I'm going to add another set of text, which we will have it be step number 2, which will be pour water around the product. You can make it whatever colors you want. And then I'm going to set duration on that one as well. So basically it's going to say product photography shoot. It'll explain step 1 of what I want them to do, step 2 of what I want them to do, and then those are going to go away And what I plan to do is place a voiceover over top, kind of explaining exactly what we want them to be doing. So that we're kind of hitting them on all fronts. So we want to do this text for anyone who's hard of hearing or anyone who's watching it without volume. And then what we're going to do is place a very popular song on top of that as well. So as we talked about before, make sure it doesn't have a trend on it already unless you're doing the trend. And then I'm going to click on that popular song, add that, but then we want to go over to the volume section, bottom right corner, so that we don't have our original sound in there. We don't want sounds of you moving your camera around and stuff like that. So I'm going to take away that original sound, and I plan to voice over this. So I want to lower the added sound just a little bit, and the added sound is the music sound basically, and then that'll be it. So I dropped it down to 70%, but then the original audio I dropped it down to 0 because I'm going to be doing a voiceover, but I want the music in the background behind my voiceover so that we could go to the explore pages of the people who listen to that sound, as well as we have the voiceover kind of explaining what we want. As you can see, the flow of this video, it has the hook in the beginning, it has the value in the middle, and then a call to action at the end. What is the call to action for me? I want people to come to my Instagram page or my TikTok page and actually check out my other stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my username. So I'm going to put @We'reSocialSavvy, which is our social media page. You could put your website, you could put all kinds of things, but we always want to put some sort of call to action. It doesn't have to be so blatant that it's like an advertisement, but we definitely want to put that call to action in there because at the end of the day, that is the goal for our brand. We want them to go somewhere other than just watching this video. I'm going to set the duration of that one. So I want the duration of this call to action to just be at the very end because we want to follow those guidelines, the hook, the value, and then call to action. As you can see, the flow of the video, it'll be your hook, it'll be your explanation in the middle, which is your add value, and at the very end, we want your call to action and the final product in order to basically give them what they wanted to see. We have to show them, if I'm doing these photography tips, I gotta show what the final product of that photography tip is. So this is a great step-by-step on how to follow that hook method. And then lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna place that voiceover, and this will be solid to hit all fronts as far as doing the voiceover, doing the music, and these captions and subtitles. So I'll do a voiceover here and I'll just record it straight up right now. Here's a little product photography tip. Grab a mirror and your product, pour water around the product, and then watch your photo come to life. Boom, and that's it. So that's all I did. So as you can see right there, the audio on my video is a little bit too loud for my voiceover. So I want to hop into the audio section one more time. It's the bottom left, little music note. Go to volume and then drop that music sound down even lower, down to around 15. So that is a great formula to a video, to making a video. That hook, add value, and call to action method. So as you can see, I took all the tips from those creator tools that we talked about in previous episodes and basically put the captions, did the voiceover, put the big song on there, and then followed that hook method. A hook in the beginning, some info on what they're about to see in that video, adding value, actually explaining step by step of how that video happens, as well as at the very end, providing exactly what they wanted, which is all those tips put together and they see the final product. And at the same time, we want to place our call to action. So that is a perfect method to a TikTok. And this video here, we've already posted and it's already seen a lot of success. Then what we're going to talk about now is the caption of that video. So of course we don't want to place no caption at all. We want to basically explain to the viewer what they're going to see. So I'm going to put product photography tip. Boom, product photography tip. I'm going to throw some emojis in there. And then I'm going to throw a few hashtags that are relative to my brand. So I'm going to do product photography. Of course, right now I'm not doing research on these hashtags, but definitely look into your hashtags before you're placing them. Me, myself, I already know some of the hashtags that do really well in my space, so I'm just gonna start using those. And as you type in hashtags, for example, if you are a candle making company, I know we keep referring back to that, but if you just type in candle, as you can see underneath, it gives you a whole bunch of potential candle hashtags, and you can see how many users are within that hashtag. So this is a great way to kind of choose your hashtags wisely. Of course, if you just type in candle, if you see there's 2 billion people using that hashtag. So we want to choose definitely the hashtags that have a lot of users, but we don't want to use ones with, say, ones just like that, 2 billion users. So we want to scroll down to these millions down here. And there's a whole bunch of different stuff that comes up. Candle Magic, Candle Maker, which is definitely more specific to you if you are a candle maker. So I would click things just like that. But for my sake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in photography. And as you can see, it's giving me a whole bunch of options for photographers. There's a hashtag on here that says Photography 101, which is perfect for what I'm doing here because basically I'm showing people how to do product photography. So this is a great hashtag to use. Type in photography again. And basically I'm just going to scroll through until I see one that kind of fits more toward me. As you can see, this one has 211 million views, which is definitely high, but the hashtag is photography hack, which is a great hashtag because I could definitely see people who are trying to get into photography or looking for photography hacks searching this hashtag. So that's perfect. So I'm going to put stuff just like that. If you have or know of any influencers that are within your space that maybe do a lot of reposting or duets and stitches like we were talking about before, you could always @ them, but you need to be following them as well. So definitely think about that before you start tagging people and stuff like that. But tagging people is a great way to potentially draw more interaction between each other. But that's all I'm going to put. I'm going to put a solid caption and then just place a few good hashtags. A lot of the times you see people putting hashtag FYP. Basically what that is the For You page. So that's trying to get on what Instagram calls the Explore feed. So a lot of people put that hashtag. So that is a good hashtag to use, or just For You page or For You. Basically, it just helps your chances to get on that For You page. Those are all solid hashtags to use. And then basically from there, you just press post. So that's a solid first post. And if you're following that formula, you could basically guarantee that you're going to get a ton of interaction on your post. Like we said before, don't be bothered if you're not getting a ton of views. TikTok is all about consistency. So the more stuff you post in keeping with these good methods of posting, you're gonna see success. Especially if one finds success, you're gonna see success through the other ones.